a quick background, just a tiny bit more than what Erin had shared. I am a longtime food and drink writer. So I've been working for myself full time from home for 7 years now. But prior to that, I had freelance gigs and my blog. So it had always been important that I have some sort of home office working area, even if not a dedicated office, which I have now. And some kind of self-discipline so that I was able to, get work done at home from the comfort of my home at sometimes unusual times of day. Of course, I launched my marketing company and have been full-time now for myself for over 7 years and working here in my home office, which you can see I've now finally decorated. And if you were in here, there are like a bajillion more plants. And some great reference books and some other cool stuff. This really is like my retreat, the place that I pre-pandemic worked from 8 to 12 hours a day, and now where I retreat to when my son is asleep, so I can get some things done. So that said, I thought that I would start off by sharing with you what my pre-pandemic work from home routine was like, because that's really what I'm going to talk to you about today is some keys to success for working from home. And that revolves largely around having some sort of routine. So pre this, and even before I had my son, I've been a morning person forever. So I get up early, and now that I have a wild 2-year-old, it's important for me to have a few hours to myself in the morning. So actually he and my husband will sleep until like between 8 or 9, any time of the year, luckily. So I get up around 5 or 6, usually 6. I don't actually set an alarm. I haven't done that in years. My dog always gets me up, so it's sometime that happens then. And then for me, it's getting coffee. I don't even shower yet or anything. I come in here and I have my coffee and I catch up on some emails. Sometimes that's archiving, completed tasks from the day before, adding things to my to-do list, and then catching up on current events. I subscribe to a few email newsletters so that I feel, prepared to start the day. And then I would drop my son off at daycare between 8 and 9, ideally. And then I would come back here and dive into work. One of my bad habits actually is like, I'm not a huge, I don't always get the shower like first thing in the morning, and then that makes me late for everything else in my day. So if that's something that's important to you, to be able to feel like you are human and, really able to be productive, I recommend getting that done first thing in the morning. I find if I wait until later in the day, it sometimes never happens. But I'm also a person who doesn't feel like I need to do that every day. However, I'll get to my rules in a little bit, but one of them is you still have to change out of your pajamas. So then for me, what is helpful for working at home is I never turn on the television, and I'll reference that too. It's my number one rule. Just don't ever turn on the TV. For me, that's a total time suck. And I can never get that time back. If podcasts work for you and you can do that while you work, that's a great way to sort of have your brain entertained. For me, I like Spotify playlists. I like to have some background music sometimes. And then I like to keep, I use something called the Pomodoro method. It's actually based on like a kitchen timer that's shaped like a tomato. And that one based on 20 minutes of work and then 10 minutes of a new task, or, maybe it's checking social media. But what I find a time frame that works for me. I've learned that working, I can work really well for about 40 or 50 minutes. And then I find myself scrolling through Instagram. And I'm sure that's happening to you guys sometimes too, right? You're in it and then you get distracted by a thread and all of a sudden, time is missing. So when I find myself doing those things, that's when it's time to get up, go get a drink of water from the kitchen, go take a walk, throw in a load of laundry, something like that, and then get back and maybe set a timer for another like 30 or 40 of I'm getting ahead of myself. then finally to close the day, pre-baby, I never really had close time. I would just keep working and working until my husband came home from work, and we would maybe eat dinner or something. But now I have a conclusion to my day, and we will, I'll plan for a dinner, and I really will be done with my work day. And I find that really is helpful. I usually don't even check my phone for those several hours following the conclusion of the workday at 4 or 5, until sometimes later at night I'm forced to come back in here. Let me jump into some of what I feel like my themes for success really can be. And I want to make sure I have this chat available to me in case you guys are asking questions. Okay, no one has yet. Please do feel free to ask me questions. I really would love to be interactive. It's sort of funny to just talk at the screen right now and not be able to get people's reactions. So in terms of finding a routine and success in working from home, one of the things that you need to do first is set up some rules for yourself. I mentioned this briefly earlier, so you want to at least change out of your pajamas. I don't feel strongly that you need to dress for the workday like you normally would, but I know for some people that really does work. It's a lot of figuring out what feels right for you. For me, getting a shower first thing in the morning sometimes feels like I'm wasting valuable time. But again, that's also because I have a toddler here, so I need to eke in the time when I can. But I still, I put on the good sweats, I get some deodorant and dry shampoo, and I, wash my face and brush my teeth so that I feel good. But I know for some people, if you know that you need to get a shower, definitely make that part of your first thing in the morning routine. I said before, definitely don't turn on the TV. And then having your own space to work is absolutely like the next important rule for yourself. I know not everyone is lucky enough to have a room that you've already dedicated to being your home office. And maybe even if you have the space, you hadn't ever really purposed it for that. My husband has chosen to work downstairs. I'm not really sure why. I think the kitchen table would be better for him because you want to have a place that has some back support, a solid desk, but he's making that work for him. Why that works for him too is we have a split level house. So he's able to be away from the distractions of me and our wild son. And then he also is right next to the back door. And a lot of times when he takes conference calls, he'll just walk right outside and take, a spin around the backyard or walk through the neighborhood, which gets him outside, but also allows him some of that privacy. Yes, I am not an expert on working with toddlers, but I will touch on that in a little bit. Thank you so much. I would say that for your space, you need to have room to have your laptop, a notebook and pen, a water bottle, and your phone so that you feel like you're comfortable. And while some people would tell you you can't work from bed, if that works for you, do it. There are days when I'm under the weather and I'll take my laptop into the bedroom for a little bit and I can feel like my body is relaxing a little bit, but still manage to get some things done. And the same with the couch. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, if you find yourself getting too distracted, pick it up and move it somewhere else. A lot of what happens, what is going to be your key to success is just continuing to try and trial and error, find new things that work. And then another good tip I have is sort of to plan your water, snacks, and lunch for the day as if you were going to the office. So because I'm in here every day, I actually have, my husband makes fun of me, like a secret stash of my snacks. So I have a giant thing of cashews and I have some pumpkin seeds and some chocolate because those are the things that I like to have on hand. And then I try to bring in my reusable water bottle with me all the time too. And that way you're not running out to the kitchen every 30 minutes or getting hangry on a call. So the next part of that then is trying to take those keys and figure out what works for you in a routine. Changing locations, finding out what works for you, being able to to pivot what you're doing is going to be the key. So as my life has changed through having a baby, having him only in part-time daycare to full-time daycare to now being essentially a stay-at-home mom, number one, I am still trying to shift and pivot and find out what works for me. The first 2 weeks, at least, that we were home like this, I was really frustrated because I couldn't get anything done. So one of the things that I've tried to, that have worked for me in doing this is finding the things that do work and then adapting to those. So now it's a little bit more working late at night, which I'm not loving because honestly, I'm pretty tired by the end of the day these days. But it's important for me to be able to kind of clear out the inbox and prepare for the next day. And I found that this one old school trick is really helping me, and that is actually writing down my to-do list either the night before or first thing in the morning. And I try not to make it more than 5 things. And I'll preface this by saying, like, I have everything. I probably have like 4 different to-do apps on my phone and my computer. I use Todoist. We use Trello. I've got stuff in my email inbox. But it's so all over the place. And it's also a lot based on when we were working a normal life. Now I'm using a notebook and I'm writing down these 5 things, and I try to keep them as attainable and realistic as possible. So it'll be the top priority items for either my clients or my own original content. And then sometimes it'll be something to do with my son during the day to, you know, make sure he's getting stimulated or educated somehow. And then around the house task. I think one of the bonuses for working from home is being able to eke in these little tasks for your house that can make things feel a little bit better. So I'm just trying to, you want to just try to like do trial and error, figure out the productivity tips that work for you. Okay. I thought my toddler was going to interrupt, but it sounds like my husband caught him, so that's good. Engaging my little one during the day. I am not an expert on this at all. And unfortunately, or fortunately, he's at this really, really cool, fun age of 2.5. He is a wild thing, and he is so much fun, and he's learning so much. But I really can't do a whole lot while he's awake unless I put on Paw Patrol. So I know that that is not like the best advice. But we try to limit that. If I know that if anything, I try to adjust my schedule in such a way that, okay, I know that, you know, Monday morning, I'm going to have a lot of things to do or a call to make. So, you know, we'll do a little Paw Patrol marathon with some snacks, and he's usually pretty content. My husband and I also take some shifts, but I am definitely the primary caretaker during the day. He's essentially still working full time. And so I really have to yield to his job right now. Otherwise, we've had some really cool things with our daycare. They've been providing some videos from the teachers who really miss the kids. So they've been taking videos of them reading and singing songs. And so I share those with him to try to give him some stimulation that isn't me, because I'm not that interesting and fun to him all the time. Thank you, Lindsay. Paw Patrol's not that bad. And PBS Kids is great. There are some other really good like educational screen time things that I don't think that any of us need to feel guilty about putting our kids in front of. As long as, you know, there's some oversight, I think that, you know, this isn't going to shape their entire lives. And then obviously as kids are older and can play more independently, I'm sure that other people here might have some better tips for that, but we just happen to be at a very interesting age for that. And he's an only child, so I can't be like, oh, just go play with your brother or whatever. So another key to working from home success for me, you know, Erin mentioned it in the intro, is that like before I worked from home full time, it's all I wanted in my whole life. And I bet some of you felt the same way, and now we're like, ugh. What did I get myself into? And I have to say, you've got to remember what those perks were, those things that you wanted to enjoy, and make the most of them. So for one, get yourself some good sweats, or leggings if that's what you're into. Something that you really feel, if you like to work comfortably, do it and enjoy it. For me, I like an afternoon treat of a hot beverage and some chocolate. So I keep those things, stocked nearby, and that's a nice way to reward myself. The one of the biggest things, especially as this weather gets nicer, is working from home doesn't have to mean working inside your home. So today's supposed to be a gorgeous day, and I encourage any of you, if you can, take those laptops out to the patio and soak it in. And if it doesn't work, lighting wise, to have your laptop out there or to take a call out there, at least enjoy a 30-minute break or something, and get outside to enjoy the sun. I make my friends jealous all summer long when I am sitting outside soaking in the sun, legitimately doing work. The other thing that is great about working from home is your ability to eke in workouts. When I worked in an office setting, I always found it such a challenge to get to a gym, do a workout, and then freshen up, to some sort of reasonable level to be around other people. And now, hey, you don't have to be around other people. You, you could definitely try something new. So many different things are streaming online. So if you need that break in the middle of your afternoon, or if it's the way to start your day to build that productivity routine, now you have a real opportunity to try different things and see what works for you. Ultimately, I would encourage at least, taking a walk when you can. The walk and talk, I think, is a great idea. Even if you're not on a phone call with a work related call a friend, or even just, do it on your own. It can be really refreshing. And now you get to do it in your own neighborhood. And then I'm getting off. Finally, really, my answer here, my final thing is just to be easy on yourself, because we're all trying, and this is all something completely unprecedented and new. I'm very curious to hear if more people will want to work from home now, or if this will be a deterrent. But it's really, I think, a great opportunity to, discover some new things about yourself, really think about, what routines already work for you and how you can apply those to home. I'm going to try to read some of these questions real quick to see if I can answer anything for anybody. Oh, good. I'm seeing a lot of fellow TV time. Yes, the kids are all over me. My son's obsessed with me, and I love it. It's really, really fun. And honestly, in a lot of ways, I just have to give up and hang out with him. In the beginning, it was really frustrating me, but I now am just totally soaking it up and loving it. And again, sort of just shifting my priorities every day so I can hit the things that I need to get done and still spend time with him. I'm definitely not producing at the level I was beforehand, but that also, happens to be workload. I do have one other tip actually, it's a bunch of tips I wanted to share with you guys. For when you're working from home and you're having trouble concentrating, and maybe you've already done the work or the walk, and you just, you're not feeling it. I have a post on my website right now, sarabozich.com, that has 20 work-related things that you can do, like while you're binge watching The Office or something, or are on a conference call that's kind of boring or whatever. And it's things that legitimately can help your productivity in the future and help you work better. And it's things like, cleaning off your desktop, the virtual one and your real one. Finally, setting up that password manager that you've been meaning to do for a long time. Make sure that you have software for keeping your computer running the best that it can. Are you backing up your computer? Cleaning out filing cabinets, stuff like that is you mean to do, or you forgot to do, or don't know that you should do, that can really help you long-term with productivity and working from home, or when you go back to the office. batch scheduling. I definitely try to. This is something, oh, I guess everybody can see the chat, right? I don't need to read the questions. I was asked if I practice batch scheduling for daily or weekly tasks. I try to. Again, I'm still adapting and learning the best things that work for me. And I do in some cases, like when I use Todoist, which is an online to-do list application, I can have it set up that, tasks that I do every week always happen on Mondays, different ones happen on Wednesdays, etc. And that does help keep me streamlined, especially right now when we don't always remember what day of the week it is, because every day is Sunday for me, or whatever day. It's always we're kind of just in Groundhog Day here right now. And I find that does help keep me, make sure that I'm still producing consistently. Erin asked what my schedule is like. Do I work more in the morning or at night when Bo's asleep? I work more in the morning. So my schedule now is this. I still try to get up before everybody, have my coffee, dive into some things. I make that handwritten to-do list of like about 5 things. And I didn't do today's yet, of course, so I can't really share, but like Mondays was, vacuum, try to do yoga online, organize blog posts, and play outside was one from yesterday because I knew it was going to be nice out. Bo takes a nice nap in the afternoon from about 1:30 to 4 right now. Daycare is not going to love that schedule when he goes back, but so that is the time that I will usually do Zoom calls, conference calls. That's my biggest chunk to really like dive in and get some stuff done, which is unfortunate for me because I know for myself, I'm most productive in the morning. If I could have this time between like 9 and 11 to get all of my work done, that would work best for me. But that doesn't work for my husband's job. So I do what I can. And then after bedtime, if I need to, I will definitely come back in here and work. So for instance, every Wednesday night I work late, pre-pandemic and post, because I put together the weekend roundup for Thursday, and I've always done that late at night. So that's really how my schedule goes. And then in the interim, I'm trying to entertain him, cook dinner, do laundry, be everything. Isn't that what we're all just trying to be, like everything all of the time? Monica, it does feel like extended maternity leave. I actually feel like I'm on maternity leave again. So that's great. How am I handling being in an events-focused business right now? Well, obviously our calendar has cleared big time. I think that we canceled 11 events for this month, and I think we'll be canceling May's, but that's not official yet. But what we're doing, fortunately we do offer other services. So promotion has been amplified now. We're trying to help our clients out by sharing what they have via blog posts and social media and using our network that way. And then we're also considering, though we haven't done any yet, some virtual happy hours. We've seen some of those work with some success. I'm curious to participate in a few more and get some more feedback and see if that's something that people are into. The Zoom call is cool. Like, I love that everyone's really comfortable with doing these, but I'm curious how, like I said, it does feel really funny for me to just like talk at everybody. I was in a smaller one with some bloggers on Friday night, and there were just 7 of us, and that was like a good number of people where everyone could have a around the circle sort of conversation. So I'm curious to see how we might apply that to a happy hour. We do have some ideas about how that could work, but haven't implemented them just yet. Does anybody else have any other questions? I think I pretty much covered all of my, what I had intended to talk about. Yes, how to support local businesses right now. I have some great content on my website and on my social media channels about supporting other local businesses. It is really, really key that we do what we can right now so that they are able to survive this. So a ton of restaurants and breweries are doing to go. Many are doing delivery, which you can't really beat that. I love that a lot. I'm less likely to leave my house right now, via car anyway. And I love those who are able to deliver. It's been really nice. So the weekend roundup I've continued to do, and I have been not only including ways to support local businesses, but also some virtual entertainment. So while you're at home, even though you can't get to the theater, Open Stage Harrisburg, for instance, has been doing some stuff on their social media platforms to provide some entertainment, which is really cool. We're seeing a whole bunch. I was just putting together tomorrow's post, and we are seeing a lot more people sort of dive into this kind of concept of virtual events. So that's another great way to support local businesses. Plus, even when, if you, for whatever reason, you can't get out, or if you're not comfortable purchasing food right now, buy a gift card for later. Even the small things like, sharing their social media channels with your following, leaving a positive review on Yelp or Google, sending a shout out. All of these things can really, really help, especially the really small businesses who might even just need this kind of encouragement to get through right now.